In Chapter 1150 of One Piece, titled The Ascent of Darkness, the tide of power begins to shift as the King of Shadows, Imu, unleashes his dominion over the living world. The forces of darkness rise, twisting the very notion of justice, birthing chaos across the land. An army of demons conjured through ancient forbidden pacts emerges from the abyss. In this new world order, justice collapses, and from the ashes of confusion, evil awakens with purpose. The story picks up where it left off. Robin's body has become a vessel for the soul of her mother, Nico Olivia, invoked through a cursed ritual from the Black Scroll. At that exact moment, the long-awaited reinforcements from the giant tribe finally arrive. The children rejoice at the sight of allies. But one of them, Kalon, screams in panic. "My father was thrown off the cliff. That woman, she did it. Be careful." But as the giants prepare to strike, they realize something terrifying. The enemy is floating mid-air, surrounded by a sinister aura. One of the fathers rushes forward to protect his child but is swiftly impaled by an invisible force and collapses in agony. Unseen thorny vines coil around the children, holding them captive, offering no escape. The woman, now fully under Imu's possession, glares coldly and mutters, "Chaos is the only cure for a broken world." In a flash, a shockwave of Conqueror's haki erupts from her body, overwhelming the battlefield. Giants and children alike collapse unconscious, unable to withstand the overwhelming force. The haki is so powerful it blankets the entire realm. Even seasoned warriors of the Elbaf youth army, battle-hardened from 100 wars, crumble under its weight. The ordinary citizens of Elbaf can do nothing but tremble in fear. Ayaru, the ancient chieftain, narrows his eyes. His face darkens with thought. What he's planning, no one knows. Then, possessed by divine fury, Imu raises the infernal trident, forged from metal mined at the core of hell, and channels hellfire into a single devastating strike, aiming to reduce the surviving giants to ash. She stands alone in a frozen sea of white, a vision straight from the Underworld, declaring herself the divine ruler of mankind. One rebel yells defiantly, "Kirin Gomu, is that all you've got?" A second voice smirks, "Of course not. The boss left a few tricks behind." Elsewhere, ancient gateways known as the Demon Hollows begin to open. From within, nightmare-born creatures begin pouring onto the island, beings born of darkness, immune to death. With a single signal from Imu, they can revive again and again. Somaz, the loyal servant of Imu, receives the command to escort the children. Though his body is torn to near ruin, reduced to only 2 legs, he ties cords to his limbs and begins crawling across the battlefield, determined to fulfill his master's will. "How is he still alive?" gasps Commander Vospo, leader of the giant resistance. Above them, the floating woman, Imu, has transformed beyond recognition, her new form sending chills down every spine on the battlefield. But where are Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji? They, along with the highlight crew, have descended into the Underworld, Yomi, at the worst possible time. Back in the living world, Robin, her body pierced by thorns and dripping blood, struggles within a thorn cage. Through gritted teeth, she whispers to herself, "I can't just stand here anymore. I have to do something. I can't take the silence." Around her, ancient texts and archaeological records, the last remnants of O'Hara's vow, burn in cleansing fire, their contents being transcribed word by word before vanishing into ash. The real crisis now? Finding someone to negotiate with. Without that, the children would become pawns in a war of extinction. No kingdom can survive without a king. Just then, Somaz's shredded body begins to regenerate. Muscles stretch, bones knit, veins reconnect. Amid the agony, he screams in rage. "It hurts. Damn that imposter. You'll pay for this." At the same time, the final vanguard of the giant youth army reaches Imu's location. And now, the Great War begins. As demonic giants descended from the sky, Imu stood her ground, calm and unwavering. While others might cower in fear, she issued her commands like a deity passing judgment. "The Flame Legion, Broggy. Crimson Fiend, I grant you divine authority. Seize this land. Become its new kings." She pointed with piercing clarity. "You, once a holy knight. It was you who poisoned the sacred grounds of Elbaf." Enraged, Broggy lunged forward, grabbing one of the guards by the collar. "What is your true goal, Imu?" he roared. Then, turning to his comrades, Get the children out of here. Now, how many do we have left? He asked. Imu's voice sliced through the tension. Listen closely, Broggy. It's time we find Korin Tempo Ayararu. You will take his head and announce to every soul on this island that we are their new rulers. Broggy clenched his fists, his fury boiling over. This is our homeland. You don't give orders here. But then, from an ancient grimoire in Imu's grasp, black flames erupted, shifting into ghostly daggers and cursed rifles. With a flick of her wrist, she chained herself to the blades of conjured steel, seized Broggy's arm, and grabbed a monstrous flamethrower forged in the depths of the underworld. She leveled it straight at him. You're no longer the kind of warrior who follows orders, are you? She said coldly. A thunderous blast followed. The cursed round tore through Broggy's massive arm, severing it in a single, devastating blow. Imu's voice echoed again, almost serene. The mother of all grants you the strength of the left path. That arm, that mighty arm of yours should have been unbreakable, she whispered. Broggy gritted his teeth, stunned. The pain was unbearable, but what truly shook him was how easily his godlike strength had been undone. Everyone around them stood frozen, stunned into silence. I will never forgive that witch. Came a roar of wrath. Ima raised a single finger. Another arcane circle materialized beneath Broggy's feet, its symbols glowing with ominous energy. Her voice dropped to a chilling, hollow tone. In exchange for your lifespan, the mother shall gift you a body that defies death. Power beyond reason. You'll no longer be chained by logic or conscience. You will become a demon. That is the source of true life. That's when Broggy realized too late that he had somehow stepped into the heart of the summoning circle. The skies trembled. Flames of ancient sorcery roared to life, engulfing him. Ima opened her palm. Dark energy pulsed upward. The ritual circle broke free from the earth and began spinning in midair, lifting Broggy's writhing form with it. Even the most seasoned warriors watched in horror. Broggy's body was slammed down by an unseen force. He couldn't move. The hellfire didn't stop. From within the circle, a violent surge of demonic energy exploded outward. Broggy returned, but something inside him had changed. What's happening to his hand? He was no longer just Broggy. He had become a demon. Death had been reversed. His very soul twisted. Clutched in his remaining hand were two massive, cursed axes, the twin dooms of the underworld. His severed arm? Held in place by some invisible, malevolent force. From his forehead, horns burst forth. Fangs pushed through his jaw. Black wings tore through his back. And then, he attacked. The comrades he once stood beside were the first to fall. One single swing of his blade, an entire squad of giants was obliterated. This feeling. I can do everything, he bellowed, lost in the ecstasy of destruction. On the shoreline, screams rang out. A second leader had fallen, Dori, the infernal judge, and he too had signed a pact with darkness. We're going to kill Ayararu. Follow me, they shouted together and launched a massacre. The giant pirate fleet plunged into chaos. Young warriors tried to stop their former leaders, now monsters. But fire surged from beneath their feet. The ritual circle pulled more souls into its cursed core. Those who survived tried to regroup, but everything had changed. Despair filled the air. The cries of the fallen echoed across Elbaf. Ima watched the growing army of demons, her eyes alight with anticipation. The land of the giants, Elbaf, was no longer a kingdom. It had become a battlefield of hell. Demonic giants trampled across the earth, their wings eclipsing the sun. It was as if the gates of hell had truly opened. The army of the damned marched at full force. Impressive, Imu said softly. So this is the true power of Elbaf. This country will not be destroyed. It will be ruled by the mother. Let's see how much fight they have left in them. Meanwhile, far away in West Village, the people begged Ayararu to retreat. But the old warrior had made up his mind. You don't tell a soldier to run, he said quietly. And with that, chapter 1150 ends, as the demon army enters the killing phase. Next week, no break. And as the storm of darkness spreads across the seas, as ancient secrets rise to the surface, and the final kings make their move, the fate of the world teeters on the edge. Who will rise? Who will fall? And who was never meant to survive? To uncover what happens next in this unfolding chaos, subscribe to Anime Analysis, your gateway to the deepest breakdowns, hidden lore, and the darkest corners of the anime universe. Don't blink. The next chapter could change everything.